Alright guys, so today I want to talk about some smaller objects in the solar system. Last week we talked about the moon, but this week I want to talk about some things called comets, asteroids, meteoroids, meteors, and meteorites. The first one I'm going to start with is actually a comet. And a comet is kind of cool because it's actually a big chunk of ice and dirt, showing you a block of ice covered in dirt, just some ice cubes with dirt. What this is basically a rock that orbits the sun. Sometimes it may take many, many years, hundreds of years. One of the most famous comets is Halley's Comet. It orbits the sun every 76 years. We are due for another visit from one of our most famous comets in 2061. So you got a little time to prepare. But what a comet does is it orbits the sun. And I have this weird little tail on here because I want to show you that the way it orbits the sun, it orbits it, but this little tail is basically all the ice and dust blowing off of it. And that tail always faces away from the sun. So even if it is moving this way around the sun, the tail will always be away from the sun. It is this solar wind that is causing this ice and dirt to blow off the comet and form a tail. That is why comets are known for their tail. Kind of cool. The next thing we talk about is something that also exists in our solar system, but it is not a comet. It's not made of ice and dust. Instead, it's just made of rocks and dust. Now, these can be all different shapes and sizes of rocks. If they were large enough, they would be round like a moon or a planet. But since asteroids are not quite large enough, they can be very irregular shaped. They're not as big as the Earth. Most of them sit between Jupiter and Mars. So as we go out from the sun, we have Mars and Jupiter. In between them is a large asteroid belt where we have a lot of these rocks. Now, the asteroids are kind of cool, but we really like to talk about these things called meteoroids. Asteroids are bigger, meteoroids are smaller. Meteoroids that also travel through space, we try to track them down. They can also get tinier and tinier as well, even little tiny bits of rock and dust. When and if a meteor travels through space, and we're going to put down the sun here and bring our Earth back in. If we have our Earth here, this is where we actually get interesting. When we have meteoroids that travel through space, if they come towards Earth, the gravity of the Earth may pull them towards it. The cool thing is our atmosphere around us protects us. Most of these meteors get burned up through friction against the air as it moves through our atmosphere. Because of this, most meteors, we call them shooting stars. They're these big flashing lights in the sky. Most of them burn up before they hit the ground. If we had a giant one like an asteroid, we might have some problems. But these little guys, these meteoroids, hit the Earth all the time, but they don't actually hit. They hit our atmosphere and burn up. Some small ones started out big but end up super tiny, burn up most of the way and may land on Earth somewhere. We call these meteorites. And these allow us to study rocks that came from space. So we have meteoroids, which are out in space, meteors, which are shooting stars coming towards the Earth, burning up in the atmosphere, and last but not least, we have meteorites, which are the ones that actually made it to Earth. Now, this is very unlikely. They happen, but it's very rare. They don't hurt people usually. So what we want to talk about, meteor showers. We are about to have a very cool meteor shower come up. Starting April 16th through April 25th of 2020, we are going to have the Lyrid meteor showers. This is called the Lyrid meteor showers because it's in the constellation Lyra. As the Earth moves through this part of space, there are a bunch of meteoroids that are going to come and hit our atmosphere and burn up, causing these meteors in the sky. The best place to see them is going to be at night. You'll be able to see them all night pretty much. You're going to be looking for either the star Vega or the Lyra constellation in the northeastern part of the sky at about 10 o'clock at night all the way through dawn. There should be no full moon out, so it should be nice and dark for you to see some of these shooting stars. You may even see 100 in an hour if you look carefully. Now the cool thing about this is you're going to have to get somewhere dark. If you are sitting somewhere where lots of street lights are out, you may not be able to see them as well. But I encourage you to maybe scope this out a few days in advance. Maybe look around starting April 16th. Where a good spot to see this? This might be a good chance to get out of the house and see some meteors. I'm planning to go outside and see it. Try to turn off lights if you can. Get somewhere dark. Be safe. Stay with the fam. But see if you can't check out some of these meteors crashing towards Earth. Check it out. Last but not least, I have some questions for you for this week. An assignment. Please remember this is one paragraph. 5 sentences for each question. 10 sentences total. My questions are, scientists can learn a lot when a meteor doesn't burn up and lands on the Earth. What do you think we learn from that? What do you think scientists could learn if a rock makes it from space and lands on Earth and we can study it? What do we learn from that? Question 2. If a large asteroid were headed towards Earth, this is the doomsday one. I figured I'd give you another little apocalypse story. I know there's a whole bunch of movies about this. Bill Nye has a great video about this. Look around, see if you can find some answers. But if a large rock, an asteroid, were headed towards Earth, how do you think we might stop it from hitting and hurting the Earth? Besides blowing it up. I know blowing it up sounds like a great answer, but give me another answer. Be creative. Think, look out there. See if you can't find some answers about ways we might be able to stop a big rock from hitting the Earth. Now, we are constantly looking out in space using our telescopes to see where these rocks are, and we are finding them all the time. And we have some that are coming close by soon, but so far, nothing's hit the Earth here that we're worried about. So take a look at those questions. Let me know what you have. Please post them on Entity. And once again, have a good day, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys.